Has Modi been unfairly targeted? Madhu Gaur Yakshi of the Congress Party, Ami Agnik of the Congress Party in Gujarat, Devang Nanavati of the BJP in Gujarat, Swapan Dasgupta, senior journalist and columnist. Thank you very much. Consider this, Madhu Gaur Yakshi. Muammar Gaddafi addressed an audience of New York's Columbia University in May 2006. Gaddafi also addressed Oxford University. Recently, the School of Oriental and African Studies, well-known institute in London, invited Musharraf. And in October 2009, Mr. Yakshi, a Dutch parliamentarian called Louis Geert Wilders addressed Columbia. He's a known Islamophobe. He says, I don't hate Muslims, I hate Islams. He's Ireland's rising political star. So if these people have been invited by these universities, how do you support Wharton's pulling back the invitation to Modi?
First of all, there is no invitation from Wharton. It is Indian Economic Forum organized students, Indian student origin or supporters of India organized this group. There is no official invitation. Here, Mr. Modi's tactics or his way of publicity stunts, spending crores of rupees, image build-up practices which is indulged in, which shows that where is the proof that it is, first of all, as I said it, there is no formal invitation from the university. Probably his own people or cronies or war supporters must have managed an invitation from that Indian Economic Group. So we shouldn't have looked at it. And firstly, if you see the visa regulations,
so why is Montek Singh Ahluwalia traveling there? Why is Montek Singh Ahluwalia traveling there? I'm told Milind Deora is traveling there. You have the deputy chairman of the planning commission and a minister in your government traveling there, among others. Why are they going there?
Well, if somebody invited them and they want to go,
whom to invite?
Pardon me, Devang is asking you something.
Mr. Ahluwalia,
Mr. Gaur.
Mr. Ahluwalia, neither Milind Deora, never involved or indulged in any kind of genocide. Mr. Modi cannot wash away his hands or his role, his incompetence or his inner conscience allowed thousands of Muslims, minorities massacred.
Let the Congress representative wind up saying that Rajiv Gandhi should be charged with the same thing for the Sikh riots, and we will see that Mr. Modi accepts his guilt. If Rajiv Gandhi and the Congress party were to accept their guilt for the 1984 riots,
there is no comparison.
Why is there no comparison? It happened under his watch. He was the Prime Minister of India.
Mr. Modi
for God's sake, he was the Prime Minister of India.
Involved.
And he made a public statement that when a huge tree falls,
involved.
the ground below shakes.
Mr. Modi directly involved. There is no comparison that.
First. Answer.
There is no.
What the Supreme Court has said is not involved.
No
the SIT appointed by the Supreme Court has said.
Listen to this.
There was no investigation. There was no investigation.
Listen to this.
You listen before you call it a genocide.
You people, you BJP believe in God's say policy. We believe in a Gandhi policy.
After 6 decades,
the fundamental difference between you and us.
The Congress will have to take responsibility. That Congress will have to take the responsibility.
Gentlemen, may I please come in, gentlemen? No, 1 second, gentlemen, 1 second. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. 1 minute, allow me. Allow me, Mr. Nanavati. 1 minute, gentlemen, can I come in? No, 1 second. 1 second, gentlemen. Just one moment of ceasefire. Mr. Nanavati, I appreciate your strong views on the subject. But I must say that Mr. Gaur also has the right to have his say. So, gentlemen, I haven't yet gone to Swapan Dasgupta and Ami Yagnik, and I want to. So, may I please request you, express yourself as strongly as possible, but not over each other, please.
Okay.
Just 1 minute, open up the debate. I now go to Swapan Dasgupta. Mr. Swapan Dasgupta, you know, this whole rebranding of Modi, I want you to respond to what you heard Mr. Gaur say. He says Narendra Modi spends a phenomenal amount of money in personal PR. He must have wrangled this invitation from this Wharton Institute as part of his rebranding efforts.
Well, I don't know about wrangled. I mean, if you're making a contention, if you're making a claim, then you should back it. I'm looking at it in a slightly different way. You know, I'm looking at it as the role of a university. You know, Arnab, both of us have attended sort of similar universities where the conflict of ideas, where the contest of ideas, where differences are celebrated, debated, thrashed out and dissected, and where passionate debates take place and people of very, very different persuasions come and address the students. This is part of what we know as the universities. Now, I think there is no need to invite someone and then gratuitously insult the person. Either you don't invite the person, fair enough, you have a pick of hundreds of people. If you think that Montek represents the Indian economy best, certainly you have every right to do so. And call Montek, you could have called others also. But you were not under obligation unless you're suggesting that the sponsorship of Adani made it obligatory for them to call Modi, in which case you're saying that here is a university or a body within a university which has mortgaged its soul to Mammon. And being a business school, I don't think that's very unusual. But it is perfectly in terribly bad taste. It offends every norm of civility which we can. It's almost as bad as, I might recall from history, another similar institution did a very similar thing to another Gujarati. That was the Middle Temple. In 1921, withdrew the license to be a barrister from a gentleman called Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi because he had spoken against the King Emperor, which was not deliberate, which was not in fashion at that time. Were they right? Did it offend what was being taught, or what
Why
are
are
the
you
traditions
saying,
of certain institutions?
Yeah.
I think what we are seeing today in the case of Narendra Modi is not the politics of Narendra Modi which is important, and no doubt that will be contested fiercely within India. I'm talking about how low can liberal intolerance descend to, and I deliberately choose my words. This is liberal intolerance.
No, why this sense of celebration, Ami Yagnik? What is the celebration about? I know you are a bitter opponent of Modi, but for God's sake, he's a 3-time democratically elected Chief Minister of India. Why this sense of celebration in the Congress party today, Ami Yagnik?
Who has this track record? There is no celebration. There is no using these kind of words. There is no celebration.
What have you heard?
But let me tell you, many universities across the world and schools within the universities do have these kind of forums. This being an economic forum led by Indian students, they thought of inviting all these people from different places of India and speak at their forum. But they received a lot of petitions, and it was bound that there would be questions that would have to be answered by the keynote
Sure,
speaker.
so let the questions be asked and let him answer.
Away from the compromising position, because an economic model cannot be disjuncted.
Is India not a democracy, or is America not a democracy?
You cannot have a hyped economic reform model and just thrust it there. And so the forum thought that it would be better not to invite the keynote speaker. There's nothing great about it, and no celebration or not to feel bad about it. It speaks a lot. It speaks a lot about why the Indian economic forum is not inviting. It needs introspection rather than calling it a celebration on the other side.
Devang.
Arnab. Yeah, very quickly, 2 quick points. The first is that is this economic forum so naive that they didn't know of the other track records or controversies surrounding Mr. Modi before they invited him, that they needed a few petitions by a few interested groups to decide it? That's a question that needs to be answered. Secondly, on the question of propaganda and creating a PR machinery, please today see why is Mr. Chidambaram using the Google Hangout, and a lot of noise was made out by the Congress party when Mr. Modi did his very successful Google Hangout as compared to what is happening. They are following him like a Pied Piper. The Prime Minister praises him in the National Development Council. The Planning Commission of Montek Singh Ahluwalia, who is going to the forum, praises Mr. Modi and Gujarat's economic development. And then you have Congress party spokesperson coming and saying introspection. Introspection is required somewhere else in the Chintan Baithak where it should have happened instead of crying.
Well, Mr. Madhugod Yakshi, is this the last straw? Is this the last straw of the Congress party, that, you know, the international isolation, so-called isolation of Mr. Modi? Isn't that a dangerous game to play? Because the day it changes, suppose this wall crumbles,
Yeah, go ahead.
then there will be very little to attack him on.
Arnab, there is no role of Congress party, as my Congress party colleague from Gujarat state has mentioned. We have nothing to do with an invitation or cancelling of that invitation. Neither we are worried or concerned about it. And secondly, the so-called development which our friends talking is not only an exception. We have a Congress chief ministers in various states.
No, I don't want to discuss development.
Good job.
I don't want to discuss development track records. I want to discuss whether.
But that is the reason why he was told, because he's talking of a Gujarat model which is not there.
So let there be a debate.
The Gujarat model is great. Why you failed in Himachal Pradesh? Why you failed in Uttarakhand?
The debate
Agni, 1 second.
The legislative assembly doesn't assemble.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And Gujarat,
ladies and gentlemen.
Gujarat historically
ladies and gentlemen.
From Indus Valley civilization is a prosperous state. He built it on the foundation laid Gujaratis for centuries. He's not done extremely fantastic overnight.
Arnab, it's very funny to see. Arnab, it's very fantastic to see two Congress spokespersons debating each other. But by the way, I must say that this development is so bad. That's why the people of Gujarat rejected the leader of the opposition and the party of the Congress, president of the Congress Parliamentary Party in the last elections. Now that reflects a lot on what the Gujarat people think about the development in Gujarat.
I want Sopan Das Gupta to come back. Yes, Mr. Das Gupta.